I can get AI to build a financial model and they look like they all tie together. But the reality is, while I look at that model and it looks perfect, if I go in there and I audit all of the formulas, there are imperfections, real errors that we would otherwise say, hey, look, no, you need to change this.
Darius, I want to start with something that surprised me. Using AI-generated work, plus internal reviews, get seniors a sign-off, and reach clients with real errors inside. Can you walk me through what that actually looks like?
Yeah. The problem is this: AI has a way of creating product, and that product looks incredible. It looks like something you should deliver. And the issue with that is generally when you reach a more senior level and you're doing a review, that's what you look for, right? Because something that looks really good, it's usually the case that someone took a lot of time preparing. And so by the time it looks really good, you expect that it actually has a lot of substance. It checks all the boxes. And what AI is capable of today is creating product that looks really good, but underneath it's not correct. A financial model would be a great example. I can get AI to build a financial model, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, and they look like they all tie together perfectly, right? But the reality is, while I look at that model and it looks perfect, if I go in there and I audit all of the formulas, there are imperfections, real errors that we would otherwise say, hey, look, no, you need to change this. AI is capable of producing things that look good, but can be wrong from an infrastructure perspective or wrong from a substance perspective. It requires us to do a deeper dive, but that's not the habits that we've built up over time as we've learned to evaluate what good work looks like.
Okay. And why doesn't the AI just flag the error? Why does it look right even when it isn't?
Well, I think primarily that AI's job is to execute. Whatever you define the job to be, the AI is there to finish the job. So I just used an example of a financial statement model. Well, I'll build the model. It's not asking you what context did you not give it, right? It's not asking you some of the nuances that actually become critically important to build the model. It's using its training data to complete the job. And so it actually takes the human to provide additional context and then to set the right goals. It looks very different to say, build a financial statement model, audit a financial statement model. Those are two different questions, goals and outcomes that the AI will deliver.
What's the actual risk for operators who don't know this, and what happens when it goes wrong?
You end up submitting something that, you're a senior person, you're like, oh, this looks really good. You're busy and you do a quick review. AI can produce really compelling content that actually doesn't have substance. Not because the AI did a bad job. It's usually because the operator of the AI didn't take the right steps. So the senior person may approve, or if they do catch the errors, they spend more time fixing the errors. Here's a real scenario. You look at it, you give it a first pass review and you say, this looks good. I'll come back to it later, right? And you come back to it later and there's catastrophic errors. Now you're running up against a deadline. So how do you finish the work in enough time to meet the deadline? Now you're stressed, right? Historically, if it's a bad model, you could see it immediately and say, hey, look, to the analyst or whoever was working on it, hey, go fix this. But in this case, we're talking about things that look really good. And then you check it at the last minute and it's wrong and it requires serious fixing. And now you're stressed. Hopefully you don't send it through anyway, but that has happened. OpenAI has stories of doing that. You see stories in the news about lawyers who have submitted documentation in their court cases that had incorrect citations. But those are some of the risks, and we're seeing it a lot. I think people will start to develop processes to make sure that what they're doing with AI stands up to scrutiny.
What does a senior operator actually do about this? What does the right process look like?
Yeah. The goal is not to go back to the traditional way of doing things. The goal is not to say, hey, we shouldn't be using AI. Let's just keep doing it how we're doing it, because there is real value in AI created in speed to production. But the reality is, to get to that quality layer, it takes learning a little bit more about how to use AI in a way that delivers quality. I mentioned that you can use AI to build a 3-statement model. Why don't I also build AI that knows how to audit and suggest corrections? That's an entirely different skill set that you've instilled inside the AI. They can find the errors, and then the AIs talk to each other. You create this loop where you've got to build, correct, and verify. What it takes from a senior is to understand how AI works and how to create the right systems that enable AI to work. That skill set, creating the right system, is something that someone who is more senior should be ensuring that the more junior people understand. you can't really rely on a junior person to understand the right system because they haven't yet reached the point where they understand what good looks like. They don't understand the nuances of a financial statement model that they need to check to make sure that they've weeded out all of the errors. But it does still take some level of understanding on the senior part to really be involved inside of the system that's created that allows AI to deliver for you.
Okay, and finally, what's the one thing that an operator should build into their AI workflow starting this week?
I think what most people miss is evaluation. The terminology Gen AI says it all, right? You use AI to generate something. Yeah. And that's the first thing people go to, and that's fine because we're all curious about what AI can do. Most people don't think about evaluation. So we should have this term eval AI, but you got to evaluate what the AI actually did. We got to look at, hey, did it do a good job? Did it follow the process? Did it complete the work at the level of quality that we would demand if this was a human doing it? That's just not at a senior level. That should start at a junior level. That way you can submit things to someone who's senior that is better than what they're used to, the AI, along with your brain and an evaluation system to get it to the senior. So it requires less time in the review phase for whoever is senior, whoever has more experience with that particular delivery.